Yo, what's good with y'all, man? So, in the midst of this Kyrie slash Kanye controversy in regards to the anti-Semitism, the propaganda, the backlash, the buck breaking, whatever you want to call it, I wanted to go back to volume 1 of my Slaves to God series, and I wanted to shed some more light on, that topic, because I'm not going to necessarily say I stand with Kyrie and Kanye, because if you want to be honest, they're both what's called controlled opposition. But I will be discussing that in another article later on. I like to let these things kind of play out. I don't want to be like everybody. I'm sure you guys been on YouTube and on social media, and everybody and their mama is making a video about Kyrie or Kanye and saying this and saying that. And I don't want to do that, man. I'm going to probably come back in maybe a month or two after everybody's forgot, because, everybody has sheep brains. So, I'm going to come back and be like, boom. But anyway, I wanted to start, or I wanted to go back and read this article to you guys, because I feel like it is very important for this time period that we are in. So let's get into it. So this would be Slaves to Gods, Volume 1. And the title of the article is Negroland. So first of all, I want to give a big shout out to Pastor Stephen Darby. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of him already. And if you haven't, you need to go check out Pastor Stephen Darby. He is fire. He is fire. Ain't no other way to say it, bro. Like, he's that guy. He's him. Himmy Neutron. Himmy Darby, bro. What is you saying? He is great, man. And he has so many beautiful sermons. But I actually learned about this topic from him. And I began to do my own research. And obviously, there's not a lot of information about this because they want to keep it hidden. But I'm going to attach the video that Mr. Darby did in the description. So I really want you guys to go check that out. Most of his sermons are around an hour long. But I mean, like, if you really like that, if you really hit me Neutron, bro, like, then you will watch that sermon, bro. And he is great. So if you support me, you should support him. It's really as simple as that. But anyway, let's get into it, man. So this would be Negroland. The goal of this series is to spread light on the true identity of the biblical Hebrews, God's chosen people. I'm sure many of you have heard the theory that African Americans are the true Hebrew Israelites of the Bible. And if you haven't, well, you just did. While this may seem outrageous and impossible at first glance, I can assure you that upon further inspection, there is more than enough evidence to substantiate this claim. One of the most glaring being the history of the region known as Negroland in West Africa. So, this is a 1729 map of Negroland. I tried to click on it, but I don't want to like destroy the flow of this video. So hopefully you guys can see it. You can zoom in, and honestly, you should go watch my article. I mean, not watch it. You should go read it for yourself. But I'm gonna put it in the description of this video. Continuing. Before we dive deeper into Negroland, however, I need to provide a brief biblical history lesson. From 66 to 73 AD, the Hebrews were engaged in a brutal war with the Romans. This conflict ended with the Hebrews' defeat in the final fall of Jerusalem. The remaining Hebrews were either killed, enslaved, or exiled. Many historians agree that a large section of these exiles retreated south to Africa and ended up in the region known as Negroland. So this is a picture I found. I forgot where I found this picture, but I'm not going to speak on this yet because I kind of talk about it a little bit further down. So actually right here. It's important to understand that throughout the Bible, the Jews frequently used Africa as a retreat, specifically places like Canaan and Egypt. If you remember, obviously the Most High sent his people into Egypt, and also when Jesus was first born, Joshua, the Mashiach, when he was first born, he was sent into Egypt to hide from Herod, I believe was his name. But continuing, this is because, now listen now, the Jews and Egyptians had similar features and were able to seamlessly blend in with the native Africans, further denoting the likelihood that the Jews were black. So let's read this quote from the Patriot. The Egyptians were black and Afro-Asiatic Hold on, let me restart. The Egyptians were black, and Afro-Asiatic groups like the Hebrew people used to run to their land to hide from oppressive groups of the north, including the Assyrians, Babylonians, and later Greeks and Romans. This was done to blend in with Egypt's black populace, and individuals like Joseph, Moses, Zephora, and Paul were mistaken for Egyptians in the Bible. And I always, especially when I first learned about this, like when you read about Moses and how he was brought into, the Egyptian royal family, like if this was like a white kid amongst a sea of so-called black people, like wouldn't they be like who is this, bro? Like whose kid is that? Like it never made sense to me. And also Paul being mistaken for an Egyptian. And there are some people that will argue that the Egyptians now mirror the Egyptians of antiquity, but I disagree, and I could probably extrapolate upon that at a later time. I might do an article about it. But what I do know for certain and for a fact is that they are not so-called white people. There are tons of pictures, especially if you grew up in the American school system, and your history books, they'll show pictures of like white Egyptians. And if you've seen, there's a movie called The Gods of Egypt, and it has, I think his name is Gerard Butler, the guy that played Leonidas 300. The Spartans were black too, by the way, but I will talk about that more when I do my article on the so-called black Greeks. But anyway, we see these pictures down here, and a lot of the depictions that we see are whitewashed. They are changed and altered to capitulate to this worldwide narrative that they are trying to force down our throats. And I actually put that in the caption. Many of the artifacts and paintings presented in the mainstream media have been altered and whitewashed. True depictions of ancient Egyptians consistently show them as being black, quote unquote black. And you see all of these, some people say like, oh, those are the Nubians, those are blah, 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 blah. Like, bro, the Egyptians descend from Ham. They descend from Cush and Nimrod, and all of those people were dark-skinned Africans. It's really as simple as that. Nimrod and Cush are the ones who founded Babylon, who founded Egypt, Nubia, all of these places. Those men, satanic men really, but still men nonetheless, were black. There's really no other discussion about it, bro. I believe this is if this isn't the Pharaoh and his wife, it's probably a depiction of Isis and Osiris. But I'll also probably get into that when I do my article about the color schemes that you see ancient various gods donning. Continuing on. So what is negroland, you ask? If you didn't know already, all of the slaves captured in the Atlantic slave trade essentially came from one location on the west coast of Africa. I believe this fact alone warrants a further investigation into the true identities of the slaves, and is a major indicator that the inhabitants of this area were special. Colonizers could have gone anywhere in Africa. They could have gone higher or lower along the coastline or to any of the interior regions, yet they didn't. They made a concentrated effort to pillage their captives from one specific area. Why? In modern times, this region comprises countries such as Ghana, Mali, Nigeria, and Benin. In antiquity, however, this location was known as Negroland. So this is from loc.gov. You can go look up this map. Like, just look up Negroland map, loc.gov, to show that, like, the people in power, the powers that be, they know what's going on. They have these maps. They know exactly who we are. That's why they're doing so much damage control right now. And honestly, they're spreading the fire more than Kyrie Irving ever could. And also, this is just a side note, like, bro, Brett Favre literally is like stealing from poor people right now, and they're out here screaming at Kyrie because he posted a link. Like, bro, post Brett Favre. And I'm not one of those people that's like, because I understand the media is controlled, and obviously they have to push certain narratives. So I'm not like, oh, why are they doing that? Why are they doing this? Like, I know why they're doing it, but it's just like so egregious, and I'm glad people are like bringing light to it. Like, bro, this man Brett Favre is literally stealing welfare money from poor people, and y'all out here mad about Kyrie because he posted a video? Like, shut up. Anyway, also to add further credence to the importance of this location, I think it's interesting to note that while Negroland appeared on the 1847 map of Africa. It was subsequently removed from the 1871 version and has been hidden from history ever since. Anytime they hide something, anytime they remove something, anytime they try to cover something up, like, why you doing that? Why you got something to hide, bro? If it's not true, then why don't you just leave it alone? And then people bring light to it, come with facts, come with empirical data, and be like, no, this is wrong, this is wrong. But when you hide stuff, when you act shiesty, that makes you look guilty. But I already know that they're guilty. We know who the synagogue of Satan is. Continuing on, the tribe of Judah. Now I know what you're thinking. How does this prove that so-called black Americans are the descendants of the Hebrews? Well, my friends, this is where it gets interesting. If you look at the map of Negroland, you'll notice a small area within the region known as the tribe of Judah. So look at this. You see, like, this at the top, it's clearly still a map of Negroland, but you'll see in that small area, you see K of Judah, Kingdom of Judah, Slave Coast, Kingdom of Judah, another one. And then here is a more modern depiction of that area. It's Benin and Togo. And you see down there, can I click on this? Ouda. But we'll get into that in a quick second. Let me click on this one again just so y'all know. You see it? Kingdom of Judah. Let me click on it again, bro. Kingdom of Judah. Let's keep going, man. Oh, the Negro question part 2. The African slave ships that came from Judah. Lee B. Cummings. I don't have that book. You should probably go look at that book, though. I'll probably get it. I'll let y'all know what I think. Continuing on. Like I said at the bottom, in modern times, this region is now called Ouda, which is just Judah in French. It's the same place. Those with even rudimentary knowledge of the Bible should remember that Judah is one of the 12 tribes of Israel. Not only that, but it's also the tribe that bore biblical heroes like King David and even Christ himself. Ask yourself, why would the inhabitants of this land give it such a title? In the 1800s, Montpellier University. This is school, y'all. This factual, right? This coming from, the education system. Continue on. And let me read that again. In the 1800s, Montpellier University published a book titled Société Linguisticienne de Géographie. Don't laugh at me, man. The book provides a description of the area in Benin known as the Kingdom of Judah, stating why Ouda, Judah, is a city old, frequented since the 16th century by Portuguese slavers, who gave it its name. Its inhabitants were said to be the Judalaques, and they were indeed considered to be a remnant of scattered tribes of Israel. So like I said, y'all can go, if you go on my article, you can actually click on this link and see exactly in the book where it said that. But, be interesting, very interesting. Ask yourself, if this information isn't true, then why hide it? What y'all got to hide, man? Why are y'all hiding this? Why you doing that, man? Oh, this is where we finna get into it now, man. Black on black crime. And I got so much to say about this, man. Hey, what day is it today? Saturday. So on Monday, November 1st, Samhain, somebody stole my car out my driveway. Somebody literally stole my car out my driveway, bro. I had this man on a Ring camera and everything. And I already know it was a so-called black person, bro. I seen him in his A Boogie hoodie. I seen him in his little Air Maxes walking around, stalking around. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that, man. But I just wanted to share that story because I'm still like, and the car was found, by the way, by the grace of God. Obviously, like I said, my dad don't play about me. But I don't know. I just wanted to vent to y'all real quick because like I'm still so like, I'm dumbfounded that somebody literally walked up I live in a condo, man. I live in a nice neighborhood. And somebody just walked into my driveway and stole my car from my driveway. Continuing on black crime. I'm sure you've also heard the narrative that a large number of slaves were sold into bondage by other Africans. I want to shed some light on this historic example of black on black crime and evaluate the true reasons behind this alleged betrayal. So I remember in middle school, we had watched a video, and I honestly don't remember the name of the movie, but I remember it showed that Africans were essentially selling other so-called Africans for like guns and supplies from, these white slave owners. I'm sure a lot of y'all, I went to Catholic schools. I don't know if they showed this movie in public schools, but we saw that movie. And I'm sure like if maybe I unlocked a repressed memory from you, but like I vividly remember that they taught us that like our brothers sold us. But as we gonna see in a couple seconds, them not really our brothers. Like I said, it boils down to one major concept. All black people are not the same. All so-called black people are not the same. All so-called black people are not the same. Man, I gotta say that because y'all hard-headed. I know y'all, because I'm hard-headed. I know y'all. How many times y'all mom say you hard-headed, man? I know y'all hard-headed, bruh. So look, it must be understood that there is a major difference between not only black Hebrews, Negroes, and Africans, but all so-called black people throughout the world. The truth behind this concept can be found in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. Take a look at what the dictionary has to say about the lineage of Ham and the differences between Africans and Hebrews. So I also learned about this from the Stephen Darby sermon that he had posted on his YouTube. So as we can see here, Ham, perhaps Hot, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood, he became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. That's in Genesis 10, 6 through 20. His indecency when his father lay drunken brought a curse upon Canaan. Also, I wanted to make this, I put this in the caption. After the flood, Noah's 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, became the progenitors of the modern races. And all of those sons were so-called black. So when you hear this anti-Semitic rhetoric, like you can't be, first of all, I'm not even going to get into, the Ashkenazi Jews and them descending from Khazars and Khazars being imposters who adopted Judaism, but essentially Khazars were descended from Japheth. So they didn't even come from the line of Shem. And the term anti-Semitic itself, it basically means that you are anti-Shemitic people. And Shemitic people have to descend from the line of Shem. So I believe you can go get a book about it. It's called The 13th Tribe by Arthur Koestler. Once again, that's The 13th Tribe by Arthur Koestler. But in that book, he details how there's this letter from the Khazar, an ancient Khazar king, where he describes his lineage as descending from Japheth. And also, so about 98% of the so-called Jewish population at this time is Ashkenazi. But like I said, those people don't even descend from the line of Shem. So how can I be anti-Shemitic towards somebody who isn't even Shemitic? You're not even Shemitic. Y'all are Japharic or whatever the term is, but y'all don't even come from Shem. So that's ridiculous. And all those people were so-called black. Like, so it's just, there's so many things wrong with that. But we know who controls the media. We know who controls these major news stations and the movies and all of that, man. But like I said, we know who the synagogue of Satan is. Once again, key word, not the Negroes. I'm going to read that again. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. So who are the Negroes, right? Understand that they're the Hebrews. I'm going to just say it. Understand that the Negroes, Hebrews, descend from the line of Shem, while Africans descend from the line of Ham. Like I said, all 3 of his sons were black. So that's why I say, like, all black people are not the same. Like, all of us were, like, from a physical perspective, we would be defined in modern terms as black, but all black people are not the same, bro. This is why the native Africans / Hamites were able to so casually sell us into bondage. They understood their history and culture, and they knew that we weren't the same people. As the saying goes, all skin folk are not kinfolk, man. I think it's also important to understand the true definition of the word Negro. If you let society tell it, Negro is a derogatory word invented by white people as a form of mental slavery and bondage. However, upon doing real research, we learned that the term Negro isn't derogatory at all, but simply a descriptive term for our people that help distinguish us. I know the word Negro or nigger is in the Bible. I'll try to find it, and I'll probably bring it up at a later point in time. But that word is not like, and this is what I mean. So early in the article, I mentioned how like Kyrie is an example of controlled opposition. Like Kyrie is like a Boule member. Like he's part of the system. But I remember earlier on in his career that he had mentioned how like that word is like a bad word and how so-called black people shouldn't say it. But like it's really not. Like black people act like white people invented this word during slavery to like diminish us. But like we've been saying this word. But we've been saying this word. But anyway, I understand that black people were the aboriginals on every continent on the planet. If you want to learn more about that, you can go check out the various books by Ivan Sertima. I can name them all off the top of my head right now. What you talking about? The African presence in early America, the African presence in early Asia, and the African presence in early Europe. You need to go get those 3 books right now. Ivan Sertima, Ivansertima. Go look him up. What are you talking about? But anyway, just because we have similar features does not mean we are all the same. There's a reason the Bible does such a meticulous job of distinguishing between bloodlines and different races. The Hebrews were commanded not to intermix with the Egyptians and Canaanites. Yet, as we saw earlier with the depictions of the ancient Egyptians, all 3 of these races will be classified as quote-unquote black in modern times. Race is about heritage, not phenotype. So look, man, and I'm gonna probably release this article. I might just go on a whole bender with my Slaves to God series. But volume 2 in this series is called "You're Not Gang," and I break down how black is not a race. Going back to, and I actually, funnily enough, I learned this at my alma mater, my HBCU, my baby girl, Morehouse. I learned this at Morehouse in my interracial communication class. I learned how that term black, the modern racial classifications of today are fake. They were literally created to push the societal narrative of black inferiority. That's why when you think about black, what is black culture? What is the black race, man? It's slavery, Jim Crow, segregation, civil rights, Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, rap, drugs, protests, Martin Luther King, George Floyd, right? Basketball. Like, our culture is literally created for us. And as long as y'all continue to embrace a so-called black race, y'all will forever be in mental bondage. Y'all will forever be in psychological slavery because black is not a race. They created that race for us as a juxtaposition to the superior white race. Black is not a race. That's why when you go to, I'm not even gonna get into it because I could really go on a whole bender. I don't want this video to be too long. If y'all want to go see it right now, go check out Slaves to Gods Volume 2. I'll probably post that one in a link to this video as well. But yeah, man, like, black is not a race. It's really that simple. Continuing on, the curses of Deuteronomy. Another major indicator that African Americans are the true Hebrews is the interrelationship between the curses of Deuteronomy and the conditions that black people have faced in America. Being God's chosen people is a big responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility, right, Spider-Man? As such, we were promised both blessings and curses depending on our level of obedience. Because our ancestors were consistently disobedient, we came under the curses mentioned in Deuteronomy, and we are still under these spells in modern times. Take a look at some of the curses mentioned, and you'll see eerie parallels to the conditions our people have faced. So you'll see, like I said, go read. And once again, this is Deuteronomy 28. So go read Deuteronomy 28. Slavery and captivity, having no power to stand against thy enemies, sent back to Egypt by ships, exiled in the land of their enemies, scattered among all nations, a very sick and disease-stricken people, at the bottom socially with other races high above them, lost the true knowledge of who they are and will be called by many scornful nicknames other than Israel and Hebrew. You coon, you Negro, you buck, right, man? Packed into prisons and jails, a non-prosperous people, and oppressed people by their enemies. very religious, and members of all religions. Man, how many black people you know? We don't have no culture. How many black people? Somebody over there, your next door neighbor, he a Muslim. Your next door neighbor, after him, he a Hebrew Israelite. The one after him, he's a Kemetic Hotep guy, right? The one after him, he's I don't know, he's a Seventh-day Adventist or a Mormon or a Baptist or something. Our people don't have a culture. We don't have any understanding of who we are. That's why everybody you ask, they believe something different. They adhere to something different. And that's why we have no community. We have no understanding. We have no trust between each other because we don't understand our culture. Like I said, you got half of us out here, Muslims, Hebrew Israelites, Christians, Catholics. We all over the place, bro. We confused. We are confused. Continuing on. Oppression, slavery, prison, confusion. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that these curses perfectly align with the history of black people in America. And let me say this real quick. So I actually watched a video a couple weeks ago about it was kind of debunking the Hebrew Israelite movement, which I am not a Hebrew Israelite. I think that a lot of those guys are extremely misled and a lot of their doctrine contradicts itself, and they're honestly hateful, and they're not really, you know, godly if we really want to go there. But they do have some, you know, I'm not one of those people where I completely dismiss someone or a group of people because I don't agree with something that they say. There's a lot of truth mixed in within the fiction. So I just take, you know, what I pick the meat from the bones, you know, and I leave the bones. But it was talking about how basically the curses of Deuteronomy were fulfilled already. But so this is the thing, bro, like, even though the Mashiach came and he fulfilled the law, like he said himself, he didn't do away with the law, bro. Like, we still have to, faith without works is dead. And our people are constantly doing bad stuff. So like these curses is basically like, so look, this is how you need to think about it. So as a parent, God is our dad, right? He's like, look, son, look, daughter, you need to do this, and that, right? 10 commandments, whatever you want to say. Like, you need to love your neighbor. You need to love me. Treat people like you want to be treated, right? If you don't do that, this is what I'm going to do to you, bro. I'm going to take your phone. I'm going to put you on punishment. I'm going to take your car, you know. I'm going to put you in slavery. I'm going to give you no power. I'm going to send you back to Egypt, etc., etc. And if you do good, then I'm going to give you all these blessings. I'm going to raise you high. I'm going to give you everything you want, basically. So, like, these curses are basically here to show us what happens with disobedience. Like, these curses, I guess, can be, like, like, this wasn't even necessarily, I guess, a prophecy. It was more like a rule book. It was more like directions from your parents, which means that, like, if you break the rules, right? And then you get on punishment and then you get off of it. But then you break the rules again. Like, you about to be on punishment again. So, like, there's no way that, like, these prophecies could be, like I said, I wouldn't even classify them as prophecies, but there's no way that they could be, like, once and for all fulfilled because they're based on obedience and disobedience. So if you're continuously rebellious and disobedient, you're going to be cursed. Anyway, let's continue on. There's a reason why we are never taught about our history pre-slavery. Like I said, where does black history start? At slavery. Then we just assume that we African, we embrace all these Egyptian, you know, teachings and things like that because we don't have no understanding of our history pre-slavery. There's a reason why the colonizers took the slaves from a single location. There's a reason why we were betrayed by our African brothers, so-called quote-unquote brothers. There's a reason why we were allowed to go into bondage in the first place. It's because we have been cursed for our disobedience, like I just told you. These curses are still alive and well in our community, which is why we have seen such little change in our social status throughout our captivity. Our slavery has transitioned from physical bondage through whips and field work to mental bondage through media propaganda, celebrity idols, and a lack of identity. All these damn chains modern slavery. Shout out to Quavo, man. And look, I know a lot of people are upset right now, you know, about the Migos member Takeoff dying. Look, bro, I'm a real Migos. I'm not even going to say a fan because I don't like that word, but I've really been messing with Migos since 2013 when Versace first dropped. What y'all know about No Label One? What y'all know about Kush Cologne? What y'all know about Think Twice, bro? Like, I be seeing all these fake fans, these lame dudes coming out the woodwork whenever a rapper dies and they posting their music on their story, bro. You not real, you fake, bro. What are you talking about? You plastic, man. You shiesty. I've really been with Migos, bro, but I know who they are. That's why, like, even me, especially as a Migos, like a real, like, an original Migos, like, supporter, bro. I been knew what these dudes was on. They house, excuse my language, man. They house Negroes, man. They boule members. They puppets. They proxy leaders. All these damn chains of modern slavery. Right, Quavo, bro? They slaves. I've been put this, I don't even remember when I released this article. This was months ago. This was probably, I know I hadn't graduated from Morehouse yet, so this was at least before May. It's November now, man. I've been talking about this stuff. I've been releasing stuff. Everybody want to talk about all this, that, and the third, bro. Like, I've been on this, bro. I've been on this wave. But anyway, I believe one of the biggest problems in the so-called black community is low self-esteem. This negative self-image stems from a number of sources, one of the chief among them being the social engineering and propaganda that is consistently fed to black communities regarding our history as slaves and vassals. We are taught that the beginning of our history consists of us being sold by our own so-called brothers to white Europeans, who then proceeded to kidnap and domesticate us in America. That's cap. This is false. That's big rap cap. This instills a sense of inferiority and worthlessness in many of our people that pervades our community and leads to things like violence, death, and immorality. Our lack of identity is one of the root causes of this turmoil. Like I said, don't nobody know who anybody is. Y'all embracing all these religions. Y'all out here running around, stealing, scamming, dope dealing to your own people. Why? Because you don't know who you are. You don't have no identity, bro. However, I'm doing my part to try to change that. While I was never embarrassed of my race and always loved my people, I never knew exactly why. I had lacked a cultural identity. Let me say that again. I had lacked a cultural identity. Hey, look, man, I'm going to be real, like, vulnerable with y'all right now. I'm going to be real open with y'all. So, like, I used to tell people that I was Egyptian because, like, I didn't, like, know where I came from, bro. I even went as so far to get a dang tattoo of Horus on my bicep, bro. And we already know that Horus, like, I literally have a tattoo of an Egyptian pagan false god on my arm because I didn't understand who I was, bro. Like, that's crazy, man. But anyway, I had lacked a cultural identity and understanding of my true history. When I first learned about this topic via the late, great Pastor Stephen Darby, I was overwhelmed with joy and pride. This information gave me a reason and a purpose for my existence. It justified the thoughts, feelings, and aspirations I had for both myself and my people. I can't express how beneficial this information was to improving my mental health and self-image. I hope you are able to receive the same benefits. Our people don't just descend from warriors, priests, and kings. We are literally God's chosen people. This is a picture of Mr. King David, Mr. Ruddy himself. You see what he talking about, bro. You see them curls for the girls. You see that burnt bronze skin. King David, the black Hebrew with ruddy skin. So look, for those of y'all who don't know, I'm gonna just say this real quick too. So like ruddy is basically it's a like reddish brown color. It's basically the best, I guess, connection I can make is like it's kind of like brick color, right? And if y'all saw what I look like, I'm basically like ruddy. Like I'm brown skin, but I have like kind of like a red undertone. So that's basically what ruddy is. It's kind of like a brick, like a maroonish color, if you will. But anyway, I pray that you will attempt to break out of the demonic mental conditioning that has been pushing our community for generations. Freedom will not come from protest, legislation, or integration. I'm sorry, Martin. It will only come when our people embrace our true heritage as God's chosen and act accordingly, without seeking validation from other races. White man, please give me that handout. White man, please let me. White man, please let me in your school system. White man, please let me drink from your water fountain. White man, please let me date your white girls. Let me date your white daughter, bro. You sound like a man. I ain't even gonna get into that because I'm trying to keep this PG for my kids, man. I'm trying to keep this PG for my 11 to 14-year-old kids, bro. But like, y'all know what it is, man. Y'all sound like Continuing on to end. I strongly encourage you guys to do some research about your lineage. I would also advise you to get a DNA test to confirm your ancestry and heritage. I've attached a screenshot of my personal DNA report below, and as you can see, it perfectly aligns with the area known in antiquity as Negroland. So let's look at my test, y'all. So my mom actually got this for me as a Christmas present because she had saw, like, when I was working on my blog and how I was talking about all these, esoteric occult topics, and she was like, I'm with you, son. Like, and my mom always, like, I appreciate my mama so much, man. Like, she knew who we were, even if she didn't know it herself. Like, I always saw my mama praying every night before bed, every night without fail. I be still missing my prayers sometimes, bro. I ain't never seen my mama miss a prayer. I ain't never seen her miss a prayer, bro. She stay in her Bible. She took me to church. She got me baptized when I was 7. She took me to Sunday school, man. She took me to teen church at the Word Church in Cleveland. She sent me to Catholic schools. She taught me about God, for real, man. Like, she exposed God to me, like, for real, man. I really appreciate my mom for that. But anyway, so she got me this as a gift. And as you see here, my most prominent ancestry comes from Cameroon, Congo, and the Western Bantu peoples, Nigeria, Benin, and Togo, Aouda, Judah, and Mali. So look, so Mali, Benin, Togo, Nigeria, Cameroon. So let's go back up real quick. So as we see here, right? Negroland. So look at this map again. So we got Mali, Nigeria, Benin, and Togo. And Cameroon down here. So, look, man, I know where I'm from, bruh. I don't know where you from. Let me show that one more time. Benin, Togo, Nigeria, Cameroon. Let's go back down one more time. Cameroon, Western Bantu, Nigeria, Benin, and Mali. I know, like Simba in exile, we have lost our way and forgotten our history and purpose. Like Simba, it is also up to us to heed the word of our Father and retake our birthright as rulers and gods on the earth. The Lion King is about us. It's a reason why, and I'm going to probably post a video about some exercises that I want you guys to do, because there is a reason why you like the movies that you like, why you like the TV shows that you like, why you like certain heroes, why you like certain villains, why you like certain books and media sources, because, like, it resonates with your spirit. It's God trying to speak to you. The Lion King is about us. That's the Lion of Judah. That's us. And we lost our dad. We lost our connection with Mufasa. We lost our connection with the Most High, thanks to Scar, aka Satan. And we in exile. We in America. We lost. We lazy. We chilling, eating bugs, swinging on vines, jumping in the water. But you got to go back to Pride Rock, young bull. You got to take back your kingdom. Straight like that. Ain't no other way. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it, bruh. You got to get in the field, bruh. You better run home, young bull. Go back across that desert. Run it back, Turbo. No cap. I know who I am. Do you? So these are all my references. Once again, y'all can go. I use a lot of references for this one. So there's also a couple Medium sites. I'm trying to see if I can find the other one, but I'll probably try to post their links as well. And like I said, I will post the link to Stephen Darby to Stephen Darby's video. But I know who we are, bro. Look, like, and I know that Kanye, like I said, Kanye and Kyrie, they're both control opposition, but they're right, bro. We are the chosen ones. We are the Hebrews. We are God's chosen people. It's a reason why we was out in these slave fields, storing our meat and salt, eating the entrails and the intestines of dirty animals, and we still, bruh, I bet how many of y'all got a grandma, a great grandma or something that was in slavery, let it be 100, bruh, or let it be 90, in all them terrible conditions, bruh. Why you think you survived for this long? Why do you think that we still here? Any other race, they would have been drowned, bruh. They would have been drowned, but we still dripping, bruh. We still dripping. Why, bro? Because God, like, I got you, young boy. You my son. I'm not finna let you go. That's the reason why we're still alive. That's the reason why we keep pushing. Because God is like, look, bro, like, until you learn your lesson, like, like, you got to keep going. But like I said, you got to keep going, bro. You're not going to stop. You're not going to quit. I'm not going to let nobody touch. I'm not going to let nobody kill you, bro. Like, you got a mission, bro, and we have to complete our mission. Anyway, bro, I'm sure this video is extremely long already, and I know that most people are probably not going to get to this far in the video. But for those of you who did get this far, I really appreciate you guys, man. Hopefully this could shed a little bit more light on what is going on in the media and why people are so up in arms about what Mr. Kyrie Irving and Kanye West said, because they know that this is the truth. They know that when God's people truly wake up, bro, can't nobody stop us, bro. They know that we don't need to be the biggest. We don't need the biggest army. We don't need none of that, bro. We got God on our side. We got the Most High on our side. We got the Lion of Judah on our side, bro. We got All Might. And that's all that matters, bro. All Might taking care of everything, straight like that. So I hope y'all boys be safe, man. Y'all take care of yourselves. Y'all keep enlightening yourselves. And do better, man. I love y'all. So yeah, man. By chance.